but I get a call from someone like at this theater company being like, hey, we're putting on Hairspray here, and we talked to Katie and Ricky, who are the people in it, and they're like, and we would like you to come and like be in our production as Edna Turnblad.
Aw, that
Babe,
must feel so
didn't even
good.
have to audition. Offer only. Becca's computer froze. She was so stunned. The woman was too stunned to speak clearly. Manic.
Pixie.
Jump scare. Hosted by Quinn Murphy
And Becca Hobart.
Hi,
Hi,
we're
we're
Quinn.
Quinn.
And we're
And we're
Becca.
Becca.
And welcome to
And
Manic Pixie Jump Scare, a podcast where we openly discuss our shared delusions
passions
and
and
love
love for
for
each
each other.
other.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, of
that was kind
course.
of goofy.
It was a little
It
goofy, a
was
little bit
silly.
different. I was trying a little
Yeah,
something,
fun.
and I was trying a little something today because we are back for another Stan List deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
And today we will be discussing none other than Becca's second edition of the Stan List, the year 2014.
Yeah.
And so, Becca, I want to know in
Mm-hmm.
this first part of the podcast, what's going on for Becca in 2014? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
what's contemporary Becca's relationship to 2014?
Yeah. Yeah.
All fair game.
Okay, cool. So 2014 was the year where for the first half I was 13, second half I was 14. That's how I did it.
Oh,
And
I did it.
personally, but I was in 8th grade going into ninth grade then.
Mhm.
And I often cite also 8th grade as the best grade of my life.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I was having a great time then. I was like, that's when like Becky Ho became a thing.
Becky Ho.
Yeah, so I was like very thriving off of that. I was like maybe the funniest I've ever been in this year.
That's
Like
crazy.
I was just really
Because you
I
make
don't
me
know.
tee hee hee.
That's well, thank you. But I was finding my niche. I think I found my humor then. And
Oh,
then I was
okay.
like, oh, and then people were finding me funny and I was like, oh wow, I really have cracked this.
I think that is the moment. I had a similar moment kind of around that age where I think being 12 is such a fraught age.
Oh yeah.
I truly think being a 12-year-old is one of the worst things a person can be.
'Cause you know why? Tween. Being a
Tween,
tween.
you don't know where you fit.
No.
And there's just something with being a teenager that brings a certain level of security. Like you're still wildly insecure,
Yeah.
but you start to kind of understand a little bit more of who you're going to be in the world. And so
Mm-hmm.
I can totally see that, like
Yeah.
having that moment where you kind of start to come into that. And I had a very
Yes.
similar experience kind of around that time as well.
Yeah. And I think also what was shaping my humor was in 2014 specifically, there was such a special mix in the air of really like amazing media that I was consuming like on YouTube and like everything like that. And then
Mhm.
also a lot of harmful stuff. But it was me becoming me no matter how it
Yeah,
was going to
it's just
happen.
stuff.
Yeah. And again, 2014 I do consider it to be the modern renaissance. Sorry.
Mhm.
I did almost trip on my words because it is so
Mhm.
overwhelming this time in my life.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. It so yeah, I just think it was one of the best years ever.
Mhm.
And we talked about this in the high school episode a little bit. It was like the age of innocence because
Yes, yeah.
everything has been downhill since then, I would say,
Uh-huh.
as far
Yeah.
as like worldly matters.
Yeah, it was kind of they talk about I don't know if you've ever heard about the idea of like the end of history.
A little bit, but you
It
can
was kind of
explain.
I don't even know that much about it myself, but it was
Okay.
it was kind of this thing of, it was this idea in the 90s that after the Cold War had kind of ended, that
Mm,
there was just going to be this like peace that kind of lasted forever. And it was
mm,
kind of the end of like big things happening.
interesting.
And in a way, that was kind of correct. But now I feel like, in a way, that was kind of correct for like a long time. But now I feel like we're in the era where it's a backlash to things that went on there, and we are
Yeah.
living we are understanding that that wasn't the end of history. And so,
Yeah.
but in that, okay, ready, I just did something so interesting, but like that means 2014 was like the end of history.
And with that, I agree.
It was like we were on the we didn't know it yet, but we were on the precipice of like something, like everything changing.
Yeah. And that's, I think, also why I can look back on it so fondly and be
Hmm.
so nostalgic for it is because,
Yeah.
like, I really can pinpoint it as being like, a good
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll get into everything and like all, especially with like the media and stuff like that and what was
Hmm.
going around in the world. But
Hmm.
personally, I was really great at that time and I really still do look back again fondly.
Hmm.
And so in 2014, you were a little younger than me,
I was. I
but
was the
you still
same.
turned 14.
Yeah, I still turned 14, but famously my birthday is literally 2 weeks to the day before the end of the year. And so
So true.
yeah. And so yeah, so I was a year below Becca in school. So I was still
Mhm.
kind of 13 going on 14, just like 6 months later than Becca did, because I love to copy off her.
Yeah.
Um and
Typical.
so second half of seventh grade into the first half of eighth grade. And I feel like that was like a good time because I feel like I really like found my group in um middle school, because
Hmm.
I I was kind of like bouncing around friend groups, because I had like a friend group my like first like year and a half of middle school, and
Mm.
then I don't remember what happened. It just felt like we all kind of got like sick of each other. And so we
Yeah.
all just kind of had to like dissipate. And
Yeah.
then I tried to like go with this other friend group, but I didn't really fit in with them, even though I was like
Mm.
trying to. And then, but yeah, I didn't really fit in with them. And then they did something very rude, as a way to tell me they didn't really fit in with them. um,
Ooh.
yeah, they like when they were sitting at lunch, I used to sit with them at lunch, and then they like got this other kid who like I like peripherally knew to like come
Hmm.
up to me in the lunchroom one day and say, yeah, they like don't want you to sit with them anymore. And they were all like sitting right there.
I hate that is so annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
And I bet you cried about that.
Yeah, it's a super traumatic event for me even to this
That's
day.
terrible.
It's it was the foundation of my like lizard brain belief that nobody truly likes me. Um
Oh my
like
God.
that was probably the foundation of it. Um
You mean you like you still think that sometimes?
yeah, 1,000%, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Quinn, this is terrible.
This is getting deep. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow. Well, it's
Um
so untrue. That's
yes, yeah, and I know it's
so
untrue. I
untrue.
know it's untrue
Okay.
cognitively, but
Yeah.
it's just something I feel sometimes, and it's definitely something I've gotten better at managing over the past about year and a half. But yeah, so not to like
Wow.
not to harsh the vibe. But yeah,
That's interesting
so
though. Wow.
yeah, but I'm nothing if not a resilient person. I've always been a very
Yeah.
resilient person.
Hmm.
And so I did my best to bounce back. And I
Good.
found like a new group of people who um I really enjoyed, and that kind of
Hmm.
became like my friend group for like the second half of middle school. And I like
Gotcha.
love all those people. And yeah, it was nice because it again, like you said, it kind of helped me clarify like who I was and what I valued in people a little bit more.
Hmm.
It it challenged me a little bit more to say like, okay, am I friends with these people because I think I need to be friends with these people, or I think these are the type of people I like,
Mm,
or should I just be friends with the people I like and who like me and like who want to make space
yeah.
for me in their life and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that was like as shitty as that experience is, and as like as much as I think I still deal with baggage from it, to be honest, which it feels kind of absurd as a full adult to be like, yeah, this thing that happened to me this one day in my middle school is still kind of affects me sometimes. But I think it's also real.
Yeah, it's
um
healthy, I think,
be real, girl,
actually.
be real.
Be real.
And
Be
so
real.
yeah, so that's kind of what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
2014 is also a very historically significant year because the very laptop I'm recording this podcast on, and the one I get into literal boxing matches with every week trying to edit the show for you
Oh,
all to listen to it, I got that year for Christmas.
I didn't realize your laptop was that old.
It is famous.
So old,
Yeah, and
actually.
I did ask for a new one this Christmas, and what did I get instead? But an Oculus.
Wait, 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 like the thing? Oh God. Oh my
Oh,
God, that's so funny. Are they the
yeah.
same price at
No,
least?
no, no, no. An Oculus is significantly cheaper and significantly less useful to me in my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so I do still have the Oculus, and it is since being home, I've realized it is like the item fully has bad juju on it.
Really?
Yeah, like I need to find a way to get it out of my life. Like it stresses me out to look at.
What has happened to you?
I don't know. I think it's because I have problems with like my laptop and stuff, and I always think about like, okay, well, I actually like needed something, and
Mm-hmm.
instead I got this like stupid thing.
Thing.
I
Yeah.
don't want to sound ungrateful. I don't want to sound ungrateful. I am being a little ungrateful, but like,
It's
um,
kind of, yeah, if you didn't ask
yeah,
for it at all and express no interest
hmm,
and received
yeah,
it, that's kind of crazy.
yeah. So, it also did make me nauseous the only day. Like, I only
What
played it
do
on
you do
Christmas.
on it?
I tried to play a game. I tried to play like a video game, and I was like, okay, this is novel. But when you're actually in it, you're like, this isn't that high quality. Like the game I was playing, it wasn't, and even like even like the lobby and stuff, like it just isn't high quality.
Hmm.
Like it's just like I feel like people are really trying to rush like VR technology a little bit and being like, oh yeah, we can do it,
But it's like,
but
let's
it's like,
work
should
on,
we?
yeah, let's work on it
Should we
maybe.
just yet? Because it's not anything like it is in like movies where it's like, okay, it's like literally part of what made me motion sick is in the game. It's like you're walking around and it's like it looks like how your view when you walk around and stuff,
Hmm.
but you don't actually like step. You know how like when you're walking, you have like that, you just kind of like float in this game like this, and you can stop really quickly, and like I
Ew.
got literally sick to my stomach because I was just like floating really fast, and then I just stopped and changed directions really quickly, and I literally got sick to my stomach
Oh my God.
like while I was playing it.
Ow.
Yeah, and they give people headaches. It's also incredibly hot because it's like a big fucking thing that's attached to your head where you like
Oh,
scalp a
right.
huge heat regulation center in your head.
Yeah.
um so
Wow.
yeah,
That's kind of
Oculus isn't going to be sponsoring us anytime soon.
this is
But
really upsetting to me, actually.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so now it's this thing where like it's just here. I've only used it that one time, and I was just kind of hoping somebody would get the hint and like realize I didn't want it and take it away,
Yeah.
but I think I
Mhm.
have to be
Take it away. Take it
I think I have to
away.
I think I have to do something with it myself. But
Oh
anyway,
boy.
so yeah. Anyway, back to 2014 when
Yeah,
Oculuses didn't
yeah.
exist.
Hmm.
Um,
Again, a better time.
Something else super significant that happened to me in 2014 that I didn't realize, it was the first time I did hairspray.
Oh.
Yeah, which would go on to be a really significant thing in my life. So I started doing theater when I was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And from the ages from 5 to 13, I kind of did it intermittently.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would do like I would sometimes do like theater summer camps, like, and it was always something I like enjoyed, but it was never something I like sought out. And then, or no, the year before I had done a another summer camp, and I was in my first musical. I was in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as, or it might have been, was it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka? I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, I was Willy Wonka. And if it was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that's the
Nice.
titular role, baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did that the summer before, in
Mm-hmm.
the summer of 2012, it must have been summer 2013, with the same summer camp. I did Aladdin. And then after that, I was like, okay, I got the bug. Like, mom, can we find like another camp for me to do this summer? Because
Mm-hmm.
it would be the theater summer socks from like where I would do it. It was like 2 weeks and you would go like the whole day basically and
Mm-hmm.
like rehearse and stuff and then
Mm-hmm.
have like a show at the end of it. Um, and so yeah. And then she found another one for me to do. And this one was doing hairspray. And so I did them like right in a row with each other, not like 4 weeks
Mm.
straight, like maybe I had like a week off, but
Yeah.
and this one was like, because we didn't really know anything about it, but this one was like much more serious. Cause like the kids were
Oh.
older. Yeah, the kids were like older. Like I think this one was like only like teens, like maybe like the cutoff age was like 12 for this one,
Mm-hmm.
whereas like the cutoff age was much younger for like the other one I did. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like much more serious. And like I remember being like, oh, and so then I like show up and like it was also very much like the kids I would do theater with for like the rest of like my experience doing theater in Delaware, but they didn't know me yet. And so I
Mm.
was just kind of like the new girl.
Yeah.
Like I had very
Wow.
much that energy, and it was like there's like a performing arts school that I got rejected from, where like a lot of the kids who like were at the camp went to that school.
Mm.
And so there was like that element of it. And so I was like walking in and I didn't have a chip on my shoulder because I didn't know I didn't know that I like should have, but I just walked in and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I thought I went into the camp thinking I wanted to be Courtney Collins. Um, but then I got there and I was like, okay. I was like, I think I could be like Edna Turnblad actually. And so
And I
then we
feel
went,
that for you.
yeah, like the whole first 2 days, I want to say, was auditions.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
and yeah, at the end of that 2 day period, I did have the role of Edna Turnblad.
You secured it.
I started my drag career at the ripe age of 13.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, and then so I did that. It was very fun. I did a very good job. People enjoyed my performance a lot.
I'm
Um,
sure.
I was doing booger down boots drag, like it was crazy. But I was like 13, so it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I did 13 or not 13. I did hairspray later in the year again.
Where'd you do that one at?
It was at a different theater company that was like about an hour away from my house
Okay.
that I again had never heard of. But the girl who I forget who I get like a call one day. um,
At the age of 13?
literally, I get a call one day,
Wow.
and another theater company was doing hairspray. It was with the same girl who had been Tracy, my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was the same girl, and then it was the same guy who had been Link. Um, and then was there anybody else who was, I don't know, but those were like the two main ones. But I get a call from someone like at this theater company being like, hey, um, we're putting on hairspray here, and we talked to Katie and Ricky, who are the people in it, and they're like, and we would like you to come and like be in our production as Edna Turnblad.
Aw, that
Babe,
must feel so
didn't even
good.
have to audition. Offer only. Becca's computer froze. She was so stunned. The woman was too stunned to speak literally.
It's horrible. It's
Oh,
horrible. Am I
oh, here
back?
she, yeah, I can hear you. You're not moving from me
Wow.
yet, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well,
Okay, you're moving a little bit more.
I was stunned.
Yeah, so yes, and so yeah, at 13, I'm an offer only diva.
Yeah. I'm
Literally.
stunned, not surprised though.
Yeah,
I
and
will say that.
so that's also significant to Becca and I's relationship because, when I was cutting my teeth being Edna Turnblad,
Hmm.
that was where I would, begin to form the monster that would become Connie Lingus.
Yeah. She
Um,
had been brewing for so long,
yeah, uh-huh.
trying to get
Isn't that
out.
weird to think it's that idea in Taylor Swift's Invisible String, like that, like, not that I believe there was like a plan. Like I don't believe that, like, a higher power is like planning that I was gonna, be in the
Be Edna
drag scene and
Turnblad.
stuff. But like there
Oh.
is like it is like I was working on
Hmm.
skills that I would eventually use like
Yeah.
later in my
Hey,
life and stuff.
and there's no such thing as a coincidence.
Literally. Yeah.
So, invisible
And I would go on to
string.
do, yeah, I would go on to do Hairspray one more time in, I believe, 2016.
Oh, okay.
Summer 2016. And so yeah. Yeah, it was summer of
Wow.
2016.
Eventful. Very
Yeah.
eventful.
Um, and that's kind of what's going on in 2014 for me. Those are some big things.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah. Anything else we want to say about our personal background with the year 2014?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then I believe Becca and I are going to throw it to a little break, and then
Hmm.
we will be back to talk about the year of 2014 a little bit more in depth.
Ooh.
Guys, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Oh, ah.
Guys, don't ever do that again. Okay.
Just think
So,
about what you did.
just think. So, we are obviously now going to deep dive, obviously, into the year 2014.
Mhm.
Maybe starting with its history. So, the year 2014 was invented in 2014.
Yeah.
And it
Which a lot of
started
people don't
on
know, actually.
January 1st. Yeah, it's a little known fact that 2014 actually started on January 1st, 2014.
Hmm.
Um, it was a year that happened right after 2013, actually, and right before 2015, for
Yeah.
clarity there.
Hmm.
Um, no, but be for real. Okay. People often, something I find really interesting is because, like, I always cite the year 2014 really specifically.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I sort of got TikTok that I realized so do other people, because
Yeah.
things on my For You page, like hashtag 2014 videos, would always come up, and it would be like nostalgic over things that were specific to the year. And I was like,
Hmm.
okay, other people feel this as well. It's like low key a phenomenon at this point.
Yeah. I do still
So
think we were the first
interesting.
people to talk about it publicly, though.
Yeah, and I'll always say that. And I
Yeah.
know that, but
Hmm.
I will admit that, we spoke on what a lot of other people were maybe rambling or murmuring about. Okay.
we named what people were speaking around.
Yes.
Um,
So, yeah.
yeah. And yeah, it wasn't even something I was cognizant of until Becca brought it up to me.
Mhm.
And even after it was added to the stand list, I was like, okay, it's on the stand list. But then it was truly when I was doing the research for this episode that I was like, oh,
Mhm.
like a lot was going on this year.
Yeah. For real. For
Hmm.
real. I think also, and I don't know how like true this is or whatever,
Hmm.
but I think that maybe because we can sort of all mark this year and this time specifically, I think it also has something to do with the uptick in like how fast the trend cycle has gotten.
Hmm.
Because like the things in 2014 were so specific to that year, and the next year everything was completely different.
Hmm.
And like I feel like maybe the earlier 2010s were more like general, or
Hmm.
like the late 2000s and stuff were more general, like lumped in together, things were flowing a little more.
Hmm.
But then the trend cycle got really tight and really fast, as of
Yeah.
especially lately.
And like I feel like 2014 was like the last time there was like a specific aesthetic going on
Yes, that like,
before
oh,
literally everything just came in.
yep, that's true.
Because now literally just everything,
Everything is in.
like you could wear anything and it's like, oh, per.
Yeah. It's
But
personal
like
style is
2014
like,
is like the last time you can say, like, I feel like it's the last time you can say like, okay, that was like the last time where like I can see like the Tumblr girls of 2014, like what they wore,
yes, yeah.
like as
And
that
like,
is like the prevailing aesthetic and stuff like that. It's
for sure.
also something I'm really interested in is as a Lady Gaga stan, is I'm very interested in
Mm-hmm.
like pre Lady Gaga versus
Mm.
post Lady Gaga, because if you look at what people were wearing to award shows in like 2006, 2007, 2008,
Mm-hmm. Boring.
no,
Boo. Tomato, tomato.
literally like off the rack. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like it's truly atrocious, and not even like Ashley Tisdale, like early to mid 2000s, like camp.
Yeah.
Like people were just wearing like maxi dresses
Yeah, like from
and like,
Kohl's.
yeah, like mini skirts
Yeah.
and like very much that.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the Anne Hathaway character in Devil Wears Prada wears, even though I still haven't seen that movie, but it's just what I assume she wears.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
and so, and like it's the stuff that Miranda Priestley is talking about in her stuff monologue. Like
Yeah.
people were just
Yeah.
wearing stuff. And then
Stuff.
Lady Gaga comes on and is like wearing all this crazy outlandish shit. And then
Mm-hmm.
also Nicki Minaj kind of follows soon after her. And then
Yep.
suddenly everybody was wearing like every red carpet became like a statement.
Yes. Very much. It's
Mhm.
true.
And so I think it's interesting. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but I think it's interesting how I feel like this with like some of the music, particularly, I feel like this was the last year of like when everybody was trying to do the spectacle.
Mm.
Because then I feel like because of Lady Gaga, everything became very spectacle focused. And I feel like this was the last year that that was a thing. And it might have something to do with the fact that Lady Gaga kind of took a different path in her career at this point.
That's interesting. Hmm. A lot of hypotheses were proposing to you.
Becca and I are like deeply analyzing what's going on in
Literally, like
2014.
this is the deepest dive you've ever seen in your freaking life.
Unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so a huge thing, I guess. Oh my God, there's so many facets of why this year was the way it was.
Mhm.
Um, you did bring up some political stuff, which I definitely was not aware of at the time, which is interesting.
It's interesting because I look back on all of this stuff and like I was looking back on like the events that happened and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I like remember that happening.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Vaguely.
2014
Uh-huh.
is when Malaysian flight 370 happens, which if you guys don't remember,
I do remember that.
it's a flight that
Yeah.
just disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared out of the sky, guys.
And they don't like, I don't, have they found it?
I don't think they did. And you know what? They
I feel
made
like we
that
would have heard.
show. They made that show about where people are on a flight. Um, they experience what I think was turbulence, and then they land, and it's 7 years later or whatever. And I thought that I don't know. I think I was confused. I thought that that show was based on this flight.
Oh, well, if it came
It's
out.
well, I don't know, but it's multiple universes basically. The show
Oh,
is,
okay.
and so sometimes I do think maybe
Ahead of the curve a
if
little bit.
yeah, if this is like whatever what we would consider simulation, and there's like
Hmm.
I don't know, some sort of time warp thing,
Yeah.
um, that's definitely where that flight went because guys, we can't find it, guys.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
Mhm.
Something else that happened this year, which is kind of relevant to this current political moment. I don't remember this happening, but apparently this is the year where Russia annexed Crimea.
Yeah, I yeah.
Yeah, which is a peninsula in southern Ukraine. And so
Mhm.
very much precluding the Russo-Ukrainian war that is currently being waged right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so that's happening in 2014. Also, the World Cup in Brazil.
Is that when our swimmers peed?
No, that's the Olympics.
Shoot. Thanks.
That was 2 years later.
Thank
Maybe I
you.
am
Thank
thinking
you.
about the Olympics though then.
In Rio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I remember that happening because also in red, white, and royal blue, the
Mm-hmm.
2016 Olympics are like a big part of it. Anyway,
Really?
the 2016 Olympics are like a pretty major like plot point. Not a major
And do
plot
they
point, but
they
like
mention the real news about our swimmers?
no,
Oh.
not Ryan Lochte peeing at the thing, but yeah. But I feel like the World Cup in
Mm,
Brazil, like I was very like, I don't know, or maybe it was just Rio. I don't know.
mm.
Anyway, also just like
Wait, is
it
that
was
World Cup where we got Waka Waka eh?
no, I think that
Oh
World Cup was in
man.
Africa.
Dang it. I'm messing up so many things
And
right
that was
now.
because that's why she says this time for Africa.
Thank you. That does clear that up.
No, you know what the World Cup song probably was?
What?
It was World Cup because there's always like a World Cup song
Yeah.
2014. And I think it was oh no, it wasn't.
What
It
was
was
it?
We Are One, Ole Ola by none other than Mr. Worldwide himself, Pitbull.
Oh wow.
Wait, so then what was no, because I was thinking it might have been One Day by Matisse Yahoo. Do you know what song I'm talking about?
Can you sing it a little bit?
It's like sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God that I'm breathing. And then I pray he won't take me soon. Wait, no, and it's like one day, one day, one day.
Uh-uh.
I feel like you would know this song if you heard it.
One day I'll have
Okay,
you begging on your
that's the
knees
better.
for
Yes,
me.
there's a version of the song featured on Listen Up, the official 2010 FIFA World Cup album.
I had no idea about any of this.
It also came out in 2008, so like a long time before 2014.
Oh,
Anyway.
okay. Okay.
Um so yeah, maybe the Brazil World Cup wasn't as significant as we thought it was. Anyway,
Yeah, oops, that's okay.
also weirdly, so when you go to the Wikipedia page of 2014, it
Mm-hmm.
has like births and deaths of like celebrities or like significant figures, which obviously
There
it's
were some big ones
2014.
this year.
What? Yeah, so it's 2014. So like we don't know which births are going to be significant from that year quite yet.
Yeah, wait.
Um
Yeah.
when
Hold
we
it.
do, Becca
Stay
and I will
tuned.
report on them.
Watch this space.
We will bring that to you guys. But there were like a lot of celebrity deaths that happened, one of which was Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Mm-hmm.
which was a gag because he died in the middle of the Hunger Games.
And that had me scared because I was like,
Which
where is this film franchise gonna go?
yeah, because he had a very
Huge role.
prominent role, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also Robin Williams died that year.
That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was like really made me I learned so much about honestly mental health then
Really? Yeah, because it
because
was a moment where I feel like everybody was like, "Oh,
whoa,
that's
like
crazy."
yeah, like even the happiest people you could even imagine
Mm-hmm.
do struggle. And so it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was that moment where everybody kind of like took a step back. But then I also realized that I was because I remember I it was literally because I read that that happened that year that I remembered that 2014 is also the year I went to Canada.
What'd you do in Canada?
My brother was in a golf tournament up in Canada.
That's so random. Your brother plays golf?
Oh yeah. Did you not know that?
No, the way he just looked at me. Oh my God. Does he like really? Is he a professional golfer?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're in like a whole other
Oh, there's
thing,
like
but
tea about this?
no, well my brother was a very good golfer. He was
Okay.
during his last 2 years of high school he was individual state champion for the state of Delaware.
Oh wow. Okay, rock on.
Um, yeah, he won 2 years in a row. Um, yeah, he's a very good golfer, and he caddies, and that's how
Okay.
he makes his money now. But yeah,
Gotcha.
and so
Wow.
he might have had like a good. He could have kind of maybe gone pro if he had played in college, but he decided he didn't want to play in college anyway.
Interesting.
Um, or maybe I'm misrepresenting that. Anyway, so
Okay.
I very much come from a golf family. Like my family loves golf. I don't. Like I don't know. It's fine, but I don't
Okay.
have like the same affection for it as the rest of my family. But he was in a golf tournament, and so my mom wanted to turn that into an opportunity for a family vacation. So we
Yeah.
went to Montreal, and like
Okay.
Quebec. It was really cool. Visit Quebec. I would love to go back as an adult. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but something I do remember is my mom planned like this trip, but she didn't think to get anybody an international phone plan.
Oh boy.
And so Liam had gone up before us, Liam, my brother, famously.
Mm-hmm.
Brother reveal. And so he had gone up before us, like with the team he was going with. And
Okay.
then so me, my mother, and my father went up like as a unit. And when
Mm-hmm.
I remember crossing the border and like all of our phones stopped working.
Oh my God. So he had been up there, just absolutely no way to notify you guys.
And we're in Quebec, which is a province that predominantly speaks French.
Oh no.
And so all the signage is in French, and none of us know, like speak French at all.
Oh, this is terrible.
No, I remember being so because we were lost for like hours.
Oh
Like
my
in our we
God.
were in like our like we were in a rental car, I want to say, and we were lost for hours. And it had
This
already
is
been like an 8 hour drive or whatever from our like from where we live to Quebec, and we are just lost. And I don't even remember how we ended up
I
like
was gonna
finding our
say,
way, but like
sheer luck must have been.
yes, yeah, I don't know if we got in contact with somebody, or
Wow.
I don't know what the whole thing was, but like
That's terrible.
yeah.
Really terrible. I'm
And
so glad you
so
made it out.
but yeah, then the rest of my Canada trip ended up being quite fun. But
Okay,
yeah,
good.
but I like anyway, the reason I brought
Yeah.
that up is because we were in Canada when I heard the news about Robin Williams. And so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was really sad. I always
hmm
loved Robin Williams. I was a
hmm
big Jumanji girl when I was younger, that movie.
Really?
So yeah, I did love that. Um, yeah, very sad.
hmm
Um, I think also, wait, maybe not. Okay, well, oh, what?
I mean, I also have something to contribute to this because this is something I
Uh-huh,
realized like was had such a formative effect on me when I was young.
uh-huh.
Did you watch the YouTube rewinds
Yes, I did.
at the end of the year? I watched the 2014 YouTube rewind.
Recently?
Yes, like today
Okay.
in
Yeah,
preparation
okay.
for recording this podcast.
Uh-huh.
I felt like I was at war for 4 minutes.
In a bad way.
Like not even I don't even know. Like it just in
Oh
like
my
the
God.
like there were just so many things I forgot about,
Yeah.
and it was such a specific like it was jarring a little bit because it's an internet it was like an internet age that like is not at all what we have today.
Yeah, no, it truly was like it was just it was interesting because people were getting popular from doing the most basic things. Like everyone was just doing like tags and collabs with each
Yes.
other, and
Uh-huh.
it's like crazy. Cuz now to be popular on YouTube, you have to like be doing something either super controversial or like
Super high
co-
quality in some way.
yeah, yeah, in like production
Yeah.
value
hmm
or in some other way, like creatively. But no, in that time it was just like, hey, my cute friend is coming over. The fact that Tyler Oakley and Troy Sivan were just friends and they were like, I mean, Troy was like posting like covers and stuff on YouTube
hmm
then. That's how he was getting popular. But like, that's how I first heard about Troy was like
Oh yeah,
him
a
and
thousand
Tyler did a
percent.
tag, which is crazy.
Yeah. And now he's a musician. He was in a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah. And so, and a lot
Simply.
of people like Lily Singh was in that YouTube Rewind, um,
Wow.
who, had her own like talk show and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's also before that internet is before the algorithms start to get more complex. And so
Yeah.
like before we have something like TikTok and before every other social media tries to copy what TikTok is doing and before
Mm-hmm.
like it might have still been like YouTube might have still had the trending page. Like it might not have
I was
even
gonna
been like
say,
recommended yet. And
I
so
know.
for
Yeah.
people who maybe don't remember this time as well as Becca and I do, like you used to go on YouTube and there used to be a trending page. And so it wasn't the recommended page. Like it wasn't YouTube saying, "Oh, we think you'll like these videos," which is honestly where I spend most of my time on YouTube now, as opposed to
Me
like
too.
subscriptions.
Me too.
It used to be a
It was,
trending page where it's like
yeah,
these are the most
popular
viewed videos on the
videos,
platform right now.
and you will watch them.
Yeah, and so that's why like everybody watched the same people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
Yeah.
like you said, it was like Tyler Oakley, it was Jenna Marbles, it was
All the British
all
people.
the British YouTubers, it
Mm-hmm.
was I'm forgetting like literally everybody. Kingsley,
Yeah.
Kingsley was in the video as well.
Wow.
All these people, Michelle Phan, RCL Beauty,
Mm-hmm.
all these like different people.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And it was like,
Crazy.
I feel like it was right before like makeup tutorials have always been a thing on YouTube, but it was like also like right before like the beauty community became a thing that would eventually lead to like a bunch of like the new age of YouTube. Like you're right.
Yeah.
It was very much that like people just got famous off of like being personalities still, but like
Mm-hmm.
not having to do anything kind of unique.
Yeah, no.
They all just did the same things.
Literally the same exact like
And it was
tags with
just
the
like
same
their personality
questions.
and challenges. Like challenges were a
Yes.
huge part of
Yep.
the rewind.
Yeah.
Also, I remembered Ice Bucket Challenge, probably the biggest challenge from 2014.
I know it's crazy. And the thing is, it was for ALS, right? But
Mm-hmm.
how much money, like, is there like a, can we pinpoint how much money the Ice Bucket Challenge made?
Well, that was the whole thing because the Ice Bucket Challenge got you out of like donating
Yes. And everyone did it.
because you had to raise awareness. Can I say,
Yeah.
never tagged in the Ice Bucket Challenge?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll tag you now.
Well,
With no phone.
watch this space.
Watch this
That's all
space,
I'll say about
guys.
that. But yeah, like that. I remember that. Also, was that the year? I don't know if it was that year or the next year that Kim Kardashian's Hollywood was like the big thing.
Oh my God, the game.
Yeah, but at Hairspray camp at the camp where I did Hairspray, I don't remember because I did it 2 years, and I don't remember if it was the first year or the second year that Kim Kardashian's Hollywood was like a
I
huge
think it was
thing.
later. It was
Okay, it
later.
might
I
have been
was
the
in high
next year then.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I used to play that though a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Willow Pape might have to be on the stand list.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was like really interesting to me, like watching that whole thing
Hmm.
because it was also like I was online, I was like, "Urgh," like it was scary.
Wait, wait, wait. I lost what you were talking about.
The YouTube rewind.
Oh, the rewind.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. That was so funny just out of what I
Hmm.
thought was no
Yeah.
context.
No, because like
Um,
the 2012 YouTube rewind is like tattooed into my memory.
do you remember the biggest thing in my life in 2012 was Coney 2012?
Oh my
I was like,
God.
guys, this is crazy. 12-year-old me. Like,
No, Coney 2012, like, how do you explain that to somebody? Like,
what even was
like,
that?
how would we
Literally,
explain
what
that
was
to our
that?
kids? Like, what?
Like, I will just never understand like why that video came out and then we never talked about it again.
Literally. And remember the whole thing was like, this video will delete on December 31st, 2012.
And it's still up today, I'm
And we
sure.
were all like, guys, we're not making it then because the world's going to end on the 21st or the 23rd.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my God, so much was happening then. Wow,
Hmm.
wow, wow, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now that we're kind of on about media
Hmm.
and social media, I think it's a great time to bring up, of course, Tumblr, which was a huge part of 2014.
Hmm.
Tumblr was huge this year, and it really was setting the aesthetic. And also, I think the Kardashians do have something to do with this in a way because I remember Kylie was huge on Tumblr. She
Hmm.
was like, and following people on Tumblr felt very intimate
Hmm.
because like you just see like the photos they're posting. It's nothing like personal from them. It's just like aesthetic photos that they like. So it feels
Hmm.
like you're maybe in someone's room and like looking at their walls, you
Oh,
know? Like that's what it really felt
yeah.
like. Yeah.
Tumblr
Um,
was kind of like everything.
it
Like
really
it was
was.
just everything from like the other social medias, like on like it was like a little bit Pinterest, a little bit Instagram, a little bit Facebook, a little bit
Mhm. It was
Twitter.
serving. Yeah.
It
It
was
was
giving everything a little
it
bit.
was so funny when you wanted it to be like I used to look into also
Hmm.
iFunny I did have and I loved. And I would search Tumblr
Yeah.
into
Uh-huh.
iFunny and it gives you just like Tumblr posts that are funny and
Hmm.
it was like funnier than Twitter. Um like which is saying a lot, guys.
No, I feel like I would cackle looking at like Tumblr discourse.
Yeah.
And also Tumblr, I feel like also Tumblr has had such an irrevocable effect on how we talk about like social justice issues and stuff. And a lot of like
Mm,
the micro identities, especially like in like
yeah.
a sexuality type of thing, a lot of that stuff is being born and like really flourishing at this time,
Yeah, for
which we are
sure.
still dealing with the repercussions of
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
our lives today.
Because that was crazy. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. Um, but yeah, if you weren't familiar, basically the whole thing, the big thing for 2014 Tumblr was like the indie sleaze thing, which a
Hmm.
lot of like influencers were playing into. It's also like influencers are really becoming a thing,
Yes.
like
Hmm.
where it's their full-time job and you can be a person who I don't know you from Adam into a person who's selling me things and has it
Clearly.
like
Who's moving to
promotional
LA to
codes.
focus on their career
Yeah,
and be
exactly.
closer to the
So
industry.
yeah, so that's the thing at the time. But yeah, indie sleaze is like the 1975, like tussled hair, photos in black and white, skinny jeans, the Top Shop ones. And then
Hmm.
like, do you remember Black Water? It's
No.
BLK Water. It's just a water brand and it's just water that's just black. And I remember it was so aestheticized.
It just sounds
But
gross.
I know, but
If I
it's
saw
just
black water in
water.
nature, I'm not drinking that.
Exactly. Like I think
I have seen this before.
yeah, that water also boxed water. I felt like I always saw on Tumblr.
I
For
did
some
have
reason it felt
one
so
day in my
cool.
high school, I forget, but it was they brought in boxed water
It's so
and like
random.
they were just giving it away in like the cafeteria.
Like what are we doing, guys?
And I remember, no, I remember, and there was like, oh my God, no, because I remember there was like this one really cool like gay kid who had like he either posted boxed water or I saw him like drinking boxed water and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah. There was like yeah, it was a very cool time. Like
Yeah, it was
things were
everybody
just
trying to figure out how
cool.
to like project coolness to everybody else.
Yeah. And honestly, it's hilarious because I look at the photos that I posted on my Tumblr and it was
Hmm.
like all the like Lana Del Rey, like sleaze core stuff.
Hmm.
Um, like uh I don't know, lead singer's girlfriend aesthetic, and then like a photo of me actually what I looked like then. And it's like
The
there was
picture of you
no
like going to the debate competition or whatever, where you're like in a little
debate
pantsuit.
come no literally uh no yeah like just it was not the connection was not there but I could dream babe I could
Oh
dream
yeah. Oh,
yeah
I think yeah, there was this I think it was also this there was also again a social media thing that's been born a social media thing that's still with us that was born then is like pretending like you don't care,
Yeah.
specifically in a social media context, like, make Instagram casual again or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Oh,
trying to
interesting.
perform how much you don't care
Yeah.
with your social media persona.
That's so funny.
Yeah, which I think we're fully in like an era of that right now, and that's why it's
Uh,
acceptable to like
I mean, why it would be real be so big if not?
literally. No, because like I remember there was there was like during this moment, if you posted like just a meme on your Instagram, it'll be like what? Like main feed on Instagram posting like just a meme, like,
Yeah.
but now it's just like a regular occurrence, like people posting photo dumps of like, you
Yeah.
scroll through someone's photo dump, it's like, oh, my will to live, like something dumb, like,
Yeah.
and it's like a meme that'll
That's
make you
true.
laugh or something, but it's like it's posted alongside them being like,
Yeah, a point five.
and it's to be
Yeah.
like, it's supposed to be like, oh, this is how little I care
So
about
hilarious.
the image I'm
Yeah.
putting out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Interesting. Wow.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that kind of leads me into also like, especially on social media then. It was very fun on the outside and everything, but there was a really bad side of
Hmm.
the media, especially being young in 2014, a
Uh-huh.
tween or a teenager. There was a lot of romanticizing, sorry, of unhealthy relationships, like large age gaps, which we did
Hmm.
talk about in informative media,
Yeah.
as well as like eating disorders and
Mm.
mental illness at large.
Hmm.
Like there was the whole like sad girl thing was definitely happening then. And
Hmm.
it was like, I don't know. I genuinely did believe then in a way that like to be truly beautiful and truly quote unquote happy, you had to be like depressed,
Hmm. There had to be
if that
something
makes sense.
tragic about you. Yeah.
Yeah, there had to be something like terribly wrong um as well that you were like dealing with in personal life. And then I was like, I don't know, I just believe like to be happy and have people like you, like on the outside, you have to be like really struggling actually. Which is something that's
Which is a
not
crazy thing. Like,
true.
yeah.
So yeah. That was definitely damaging. It's definitely
Hmm.
something I had to unlearn as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Hmm.
which is also why Robin Williams dying was like also a crazy thing then, because
Hmm.
I was like that kind of like let lent itself to what like Tumblr was teaching me. It was like the saddest people are like the happiest on the outside. And
Hmm.
like to be successful, you have to be tortured in some way.
There has to be like a pain. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so yeah. But then yeah, that was mostly what's going on in the
Hmm.
media.
Yeah.
I don't know how much any of that has improved as of now, but yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's definitely more of a mainstream awareness around. That's really interesting to think about. 2014 is kind of the first time in which we're like talking about having like a societal conversation about like mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really interesting. There is definitely more. It's definitely more of like a, you know, it's more of like a thing now. I feel like we've almost not overcorrected, but like it's like a very different landscape now with all that stuff, because I would say it's like
Yeah.
much more normalized in like most circles, but now it's to that point where like it's starting to be a thing where like not people take it too far. I don't want to say that, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain level of like there's definitely a certain level in our discourse, in like current social media discourse about mental illness, that I wouldn't say glamorizes it, but like normalizes it almost to a certain extent,
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of cheapens it, I would say. Like I was making a joke this weekend about like I'm banning the word trauma for the next year. Like nobody can say the word trauma for the next year.
Trauma challenge.
Literally, because now like everybody's like, oh, I stubbed my toe on my end table in my living room. That's my trauma. Like what?
Yeah.
Like I feel like people like it is like I am like somebody who like I believe like trauma is like a real thing and it's important to be trauma
Mm-hmm.
informed and all that kind of stuff. But I also believe that people are being a little too liberal with how they use the word trauma,
Yeah. We've
and
like numbed
and
ourselves
that
to it.
cheapens the idea of trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and it's like everything can't be trauma because then we can't take it seriously. Like when there's
Yeah.
actually trauma.
Yeah.
And it
That
can
makes
look
sense.
different to different people and different things can be traumatizing and stuff, but it can't be that like these super innocuous little things are giving you trauma, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like anxiety. It's like everybody being like, oh, I have anxiety, like all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, do you really? Or,
Or
do
you
you have
just,
like a clinical anxiety disorder where something happened in your life that makes you like anxious about things? Is there a chemical imbalance in your brain that you need to like address? Or are you just
mhm,
like,
nervous.
are you just facing a completely normal obstacle that people have found a way to face for like years? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I definitely think they're like I'm not fully trying to like boomer it where I'm like, back in my day, but like there is a certain level of that going on, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Um, I guess okay, so we can talk about quickly like other media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have listed, and I noticed that okay, so really popular TV shows at this time.
Mm-hmm.
We have Shameless, Orange is the New Black, Skins, and Pretty Little Liars.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that is common about all of these is there's like a certain dirtiness to all of them.
Yeah, gritty. Yeah,
Like
gritty.
how
Mm-hmm.
interesting that all of the biggest shows were like, I don't know, like
Grit was like in.
yeah, like the whole grunge thing. Like it's very interesting.
Like we kind of wanted to there was an interest in like the underbelly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say as much with Pretty Little Liars, maybe, but like Skins
Mm-hmm.
is like about
Shameless
like
for
kind of
sure.
working class teenagers. Shameless is about like a poor family living on the south side of Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
at least the American version. I'm not sure about the context of the original version from the UK. And then Orange is the New
Right.
Black is literally about a women's prison.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to, it kind of started this wave where we kind of want to start to see like other things,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
not just kind of your regular like procedural drama and stuff like that. Because Orange is
Yeah.
the New Black was like the biggest show.
Yeah. It's the reason I re-got Netflix. Like I got the streaming for the first time to watch it.
Like I remember it being the first show where like people were like, "Oh, Netflix makes like their own shows now. Like, what is that all
Yeah.
about?" Because
Yeah.
streaming was still pretty new,
It was so new.
and so it was like, "Well, what is this?" And then you watch it, and you were like, "Oh,"
Oh, damn.
because like those first two seasons of Orange is the New Black,
So good.
crazy, crazy stuff going on
Very
there.
crazy. Yeah, for sure.
I also, when we talk about media, we need to talk about John Green. Like, we need to talk about John Green during this time.
I know. Did you read The Fault in Our Stars?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I forget if it was my first John Green book. I read Fault in Our Stars. I read Looking for Alaska.
Me too.
I tried to get into like Paper Towns, and
Paper Towns was really boring in my opinion.
I couldn't like get through the first like I tried to
Yeah.
read it like a bunch of times. Looking for Alaska was like actually my shit. Like that was my
I
favorite
loved
book.
looking. No, me too. Me
That was my
too.
favorite
I thought it
book.
was awesome.
Like I thought about rereading it because I was like, what did I like love so much about it?
Yeah.
An Abundance of Catherines is like the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Will Grayson, I never read those. Was it really that I only read Fault in Our Stars and Looking for Alaska? That can't be right. I don't know, maybe. But like, and then Fault in Our Stars, like the movie, was like one of the biggest things that ever happened.
Yeah, literally. I went to the
Hmm.
theaters and saw it, and
I
I
do
did
too. I remember.
cry. I
I
did
think it was
cry.
like, yeah, after it was like the last day of seventh grade. Like me and my friends, we like all
Oh,
went to like we all met up at like a movie theater after we had finished and we like watched it. Boom,
yeah.
Clap was in it.
So that's what's crazy is that like this movie about like the most terrible thing that happens
Hmm.
and boom clap is
Because
the song for the
it's like the
movie.
fun part of the movie where they go to Amsterdam with Make a Wish.
It's just crazy because
Like
I would think now if a movie about cancer, like a movie about cancer came out, the song
literally.
would be like by Adele or something. It'd be really sad.
Yeah, literally. Well, they also
But
did have All of the Stars by Ed Sheeran,
right.
which I am an Ed Sheeran hater, but there are exceptions to the rule, and All of the
Mm-hmm.
Stars is one of them.
It's one of them, yeah. But no,
Because
Boom
I think it
Clap,
just has that nostalgia factor.
probably.
No, I had my mom read The Fault in Our Stars. Like
Everyone.
okay, like people were wearing okay shirts.
Yeah.
Like that was another meme at the time. It was like maybe blank will be our always. Like,
Oh, we completely forgot to talk about Vine.
oh yeah, this is like prime Vine time.
Literally. Like absolutely prime, which
When
was
when did Vine like when did Vine start?
I want to say it came out I think in 2013. So it was huge by 2014.
Yeah, like this was like, and again, Vine was people compare TikTok a lot to Vine, but Vine
Mhm.
is very much like what we talked about with the algorithm a little bit. Like everybody saw the same Vines,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if you followed your friends and stuff, like you saw their Vines, but like a lot of people didn't like blow up on. Well, actually, people did blow up on Vine a little bit.
Yeah, there was like Viners,
Yeah, like
like Cody
Viners. Yeah,
Co.
yeah. Cody Co was a big one.
Mhm. Um
Like uh
Danny and Drew came from Vine, so did Curtis Connor basically.
who were two? Oh yeah.
Sarah
Um
Shower came from Vine.
yeah.
But then like the cringy people were like King Bah
Lily Singh was also big on
really
Vine.
saying. Yeah.
Um
Do you remember
all the YouTubers had Vines and stuff.
do you remember Nicholas McGallis? He was like one of the first Viners and he made little songs. If you
No.
recall this Vine, everyone knows the Vine where he's like, um, something something in my wallet, and he has like gummy bears in his wallet. Okay, it's called Gummy Money. Let me read out the lyrics. Gummy Money. Um, ooh, I'm trying to find the. Yo, my name is Nicholas, and this is ridiculous. Got mad gummy money, and it is deliciousness.
I do not
Okay,
remember
that's
seeing this at
all. Okay.
all. Yeah,
Also, also,
I'm looking at a picture
Quinn,
of
Quinn,
him.
Quinn, have I
What?
ever told
What?
you? Okay, you know the Vine where the guy goes, I have whatever cents, like 70 cents. And he goes, oh, cool. Whatever. And then he goes, sorry, he goes, I don't have enough money to buy chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
So his name is Nathan. He was a Viner. And on the most recent episode of Sarah and Brittany's podcast, they talked about how they both loved him, but he's just like a normal guy now. Like he's one of those Viners who just like is a normal guy. And
Hmm.
guess what? I know that because I sat next to him in sociology my freshman year at Pitt.
Oh,
He was a grad student then.
what?
He was, and I looked him up and he is the Viner, but he just goes to Pitt now as a grad student. And it was him,
Oh,
but I never talked to him about it. But I fought the urge to ask him every day, are you the chicken nugget guy?
that's so wild. No, because you don't want to
I
approach as a
know.
fan.
No, exactly. But it was crazy.
Christine Sedelko is another person who
Oh my God, I
was like
miss
big on
her.
Vine. Yeah. We were talking about her
Oh,
recently, and people were like, "What happened to her?" I'm like, "She fully just like pieced out.
yeah. She decided not to be an influencer
She was really
anymore.
like, fuck y'all, I hate this."
And I kind of think Elijah did the same thing.
Uh,
Is he
Elijah
still
held on to it a
around?
little bit longer.
Yeah, but
No, this was after 2014, but like Christine and Elijah vlogs, that was like peak
they
internet.
were so funny. Yeah. And they were friends with Chris Clemens as well.
Yeah.
That was a great internet.
And then also, I do want to touch really quickly on the music because that was something that really got me thinking
Uh-huh.
during the when I watched the YouTube rewind, like the amount of music that came out in 2014,
So much music.
actually crazy. Wait,
Hmm.
so the Billboard Year and Hot 100 singles. Number one, we have Happy, which
So does that mean that we got our first Minions movie or Despicable Me movie then
I don't think that Happy was for the Minions movie. I think it was just
for Despicable Me?
no, I think he just wrote it.
Wait, what?
Like I don't think Happy was written for those movies.
I think it was.
Really? I'm on Wikipedia. Let me open
Did
the
Happy?
Wikipedia page for Happy. No, I think it was
Happy
just
is a
a
song written, produced, and performed by American singer Pharrell, released as the first and only single from the soundtrack album for the film Despicable Me 2.
no, that song was like truly everywhere.
I hate that song now.
No, and it was like it was fun
Mm.
for like the first couple months, but then it just kept going.
Yeah, it never stopped.
Yeah, so Happy is the number one song of the year. Dark Horse by Katy Perry.
Mm,
All
that's a
of
good
Me
one.
by John Legend.
Oh, wow.
Fancy, Iggy Azalea featuring Charlie XCX. Charlie XCX has two major hits this year.
I'm so fancy.
Counting Stars, One Republic.
Wow.
Talk Dirty by Jason Derulo. Rude by Magic. All
Oh
About
my
That Bass,
God.
Megan Trainor.
I can't believe I haven't heard a One Direction song yet, but keep going.
Problem, Ariana Grande featuring Iggy Azalea. Stay With
Ah!
Me, Sam Smith. Timber, Pompeii by Bastille. Shake It
Wow.
Off by 1989 came out this year.
That's so amazing.
And Art Pop, which
Shake
I
it
talked about a little
off.
bit earlier. But like Art Pop came out this year.
Wow.
Um,
I think Midnight Memories also came out this year.
Turn Down, yes, because Story of My Life is I think 20. Yeah, Story of My Life is
Story of my
24.
life.
Let It Go is also
Wow.
huge this year, even though Frozen came out in 2014 or 2013. Um, yeah, Black Widow, Bang Bang is another huge song. Um, uh, yeah, Boom Clap, Drunken Love.
It's the start of something great.
Yeah, 2014, it was crazy. Like truly doing the
Wow.
research made me realize, like, okay, this year was like that year.
Yeah, it really was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think we've really dug deep on this
Covered it.
year.
Yeah.
Um,
Boy.
but yeah, so we are gonna throw to one little break, and then we will be back to talk about our manic pixie moments and jump scares from the year 2014.
Mm.
Guys, I'm scared. Oh my God, what was that? Oh my God, what was that?
What is that? What is that?
And
Mm. All
we're
right.
back. So now we like to talk about things that scared us in the year 2014. Because as we talked about, it was a scary time to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Becca and I both very much lived through it. And we were also going through like a crazy time in like the fact that we were going, like we were at like such an impressionable age, like at such a weird time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. Anyway,
Yeah. A lot to be
almost like we were
scary.
chosen. Anyway.
I mean, all right.
But Becca, what is something that terrifies you about the year 2014? Hard to pick just
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it is. But something did first come to mind
Mm-hmm.
when I did ponder this, and that is since it was the last half of eighth grade,
Mm-hmm.
I did have to run the mile in 2014 because I think you do it at the start of middle school and the end of middle school, and they give you 3 years to
To
try and get your
train.
mile time to train. And me and all my friends were like, okay, we obviously don't want to run this. So and they yell at you for walking. You're like not allowed to walk,
Mm-hmm.
even though that's ridiculous. So we were like, what if we skipped? Like full on just skipping instead of walking or running. So we did do that. And the way they set up is you have to do one track 4 times, so 4 laps. And by the third lap, we had caught some attention from teachers. Also, because yeah, we were falling behind because it does take a while to skip instead of run.
So what were they doing?
So what is going on? And then they were like, no, you have to stop. And we did embarrassingly have to run the last lap. And it's just one of those things where like you reach the end and like people are being really nice to you and you're like, it's not for a good reason. It's not.
Yeah.
This is, I'm receiving pity at the moment. And it's not even something I care about, but it's like, just don't talk to me at all. And I'd feel so much better. You don't
Yeah.
have to be like,
Just like
good
leave me
job.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
the only time I ever ran the mile, it was in 2015, I can tell you. It was
mhm.
in my first year gym class, and I was always like terrified. Like I like lived in fear of like having to run the mile. Anyway, I was like, it's one of those things that like feels like such a bigger deal in like the moment. And now if like somebody
Yeah.
told me I had to run the mile, I'd be like, okay, like I guess I can try. And
Yeah.
like just whatever. It's whatever. Like
Yeah.
but um I remember we ran it the day. This was so sick of my gym teacher, but we ran it the day my school had our costume contest. So I
Oh
pull up to school
no.
literally dressed like Darla from Finding Nemo.
Oh boy.
And then it's like, okay, run the mile. What?
Terrible. So rude.
Anyway, and much like you, I was like so because I like didn't do any physical activity. Like I didn't run, like I didn't like do whatever. And so I
Uh-huh.
literally ran like I was like so far behind everybody else that literally everybody else had finished and I still had a lap to run. And my gym teacher was like, "Oh, it's okay, you don't have to do the last one."
Oh, aw. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I like honestly was an athletic person and like played
Mhm.
sports and everything, but skipping honestly was harder. And also,
That would be
um,
just fully harder than running.
yeah, I
It's
also
running
just
but
got
with a jump in the middle.
it's true. It's true. Um, and also we were like goofing around, so we were trying to skip like really high. So actually we were using a lot of thigh strength.
No,
But
skipping, like I feel like we skip as like a joke, but then you realize it's not a joke when you actually do it because it's like hard work,
so
actually.
for 3/4 of a mile, it really does take it out of
Yes.
you. But yeah, also like running is just so boring to me. Like in
Hmm.
sports, it feel like I can be fast when I need to be because like I have an end goal and it's right there. But
Hmm.
like running, it's just like, well, I don't know nothing about this. Like I don't know when to stop or like where I'm like, there's it's
Literally.
just frustrating. You just do it for an infinite amount of time. So yeah,
Hmm.
very annoying, very scary. But Quinn, what was scaring you about the year 2014 specifically?
Kind of just my general attitude in general, but like specifically, I got this one memory
Ooh,
today of the second time I did hairspray. There was, oh my God, I just remembered another part of it, but there was like, I had like beef with people like in the cast.
oh no.
Like I remember, first of all, there were so many people. I don't know why. We ran for 3 weeks, like 3 weekends.
That's
We had like
crazy.
12 or 14 performances for like a show. Literally, there were shows where like my mom was like the only person that came, or like my dad was the only person that came. There was this
Oh
one show
wow.
where everybody was like, there's like this just random guy in the audience. And I went out and I was like, who? Because the only person in the audience was my dad.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Oh
oh yeah, there's just
wow.
this random guy. And then they're like, Quinn, that's your dad? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, guys, he's not just some random guy to me.
He is my
It's my
father.
father. Um, and so I I don't even remember why, like how slash when this started, but there was this kid who played seaweed in Hairspray.
Mm.
He was a lovely dancer, could not hold a tune in a bucket, like
Oh.
could not sing at all. Like I
Mm.
remember a couple years later, we would like watch the videos and be like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe it was this bad." Anyway, for some reason we just didn't like each other,
Mhm.
and he was friends with these other people in the ensemble, and they didn't like me either, and I didn't like them either. And so there were a couple moments. First of all, we had like a cast meeting before like this one performance, and they were like, our director was literally speaking to us and I was like half in geesh. And these girls that like I didn't like were on the other side of like the stage, like looking at me, like making like mean mugging me basically, and like talking. And like I literally stopped my director talking and I like confronted them literally in front of everybody.
Oh my
And we like
God.
screamed at each other and went back and forth for like a good like minute and a half to 2 minutes probably, and no one stopped us. Everybody just kind of like stood there and watched.
That's crazy.
Yes, and then that culminated in like, or not that. I don't remember which of these came first, but there was this other time where literally I must have said something to really piss off the kid who played seaweed, because we were in our dressing room and like I must have said something like flippant to him or whatever. He gets up on a chair. He
Whoa.
gets up on a chair and like leaps onto my back and like grabs me around like my neck. Like he fully like backpacks like I'm giving him a piggyback ride, but like I didn't know he was gonna do that. He like jumps on my back, and I think we like fell down to the floor because I like lost my balance because I didn't expect like a 100 and probably 30-40 pound person to like jump on my fucking back at that moment. I hadn't like braced myself for it.
This again feels like a lie.
No, this is no. This is like 100% real. This is how I remember it. And like,
That's how I
no, me
remember
saying
it.
it out loud, it's like that sounds like not it didn't happen, but like I know it did.
He jumped you. You were jumped.
I was in like the middle of the dressing room too, and everybody was like, "Wow!" Like, and I remember everybody being like, "Wow, that was crazy."
He just got
I
off then?
yeah, like I yeah, I
Wow.
because when I said it, I was like, well, why didn't it escalate further? Because now it sounds like he like wanted to like fight me basically. And
Yeah.
girl, I did not do that. Like I was not like I've never been a fighter. I've never been
Yeah.
somebody who would like gets in physical altercations or anything like that. And I didn't
Hmm.
do anything like that to this kid. So it was fully out of left field.
Yeah.
Um
It's
I
crazy.
don't even remember what we would like argue about. I don't even remember why. Oh, but then I was like, but then I felt vindicated because literally when it came time to strike the show, all the people I had beef with, they like left strike early. Like
Wow.
they were like, I'm not striking the show, which if you don't know, strike is when you like put away everything. And like we were with like a small theater company and there was like a good amount of work to do and stuff. And like they just
Hmm.
left.
Wow. I hope they were blackballed from the industry.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I felt very vindicated in that moment. I was like,
I'm a good person.
yeah. Yeah, because you know who
Yeah.
stayed? Me.
Meh.
Anyway, and I ended up doing more work with that theater company. And so yeah,
Oh, good.
it's bad behavior. It's behavior. I'm like, I don't know, I was
It's bad
14, so I
behavior.
don't want to say I'm like ashamed, but
Yeah.
that's just what I did as like a 14-year-old. Everybody does
Yeah.
stupid shit
Especially in
at that
theater.
age. Yeah. And so yeah, that was my jump scare.
Yeah.
We now turn to the manic pixie moment.
Mm.
So that's a moment where we kind of felt like a main character. Um, and so a moment where we felt like a 2014 Tumblr girl, like
Hmm.
the world was kind of all about us. And so, Becca, what is that moment for you in 2014?
So, following in my 2014 forum others, like Aria from Pretty Little Liars, I did have a massive crush on my eighth grade homeroom and science teacher.
Jail,
Well, so he
jail
was kind of
time,
younger, so I did like him.
jail
Um,
time.
Looking back, obviously, this is terrible. I should not have been crushing on him, but it's okay
Mm,
because nothing obviously ever happened because I was
mm,
truly 14 years old. Um,
sure, it's a good thing.
but there was a moment where I made my teacher laugh until he cried, and I was like, oh my God, he loves me. And it was because I honestly was being dumb. What we were doing was we were playing like a review game, like maybe call it Jeopardy or something, and each team, there was 5 teams that the classroom split up into, and I was one of the team leaders. Each team had like the speaker for the team to answer or whatever.
Mm,
He asked a question. It was a science question, obviously, and I had no opinion in the matter of what the answer was. I had no idea, actually. I was just speaking for my team, and my teammate whispered over to me and said what I thought was be your, like kind of like the nose strips,
okay.
be your. So I was like, be your. And he was like, say that again. And I was like, be sorry, be your. And he was like, he started laughing and I was like, what? And he was like, okay, so you have the answer right. Like you got the points, but what? You're saying it's so weird. Say it again. And I was like, what's going on? Like, Bior? And so he was like, this is how I say it. Pure. The correct answer was Pure. So he thought I was saying like pure.
Fior.
And then I was like, oh, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I had to like
You
double
shouldn't have
down
had
and
to
be
accept
like,
the points.
I was like, so yeah, it is. I do say pure. I don't know why. And then he just laughed until he cried. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm like disrupting class from being so goofy, hilarious.
It's so
Um,
goofy.
yeah, but I don't know. I often think about that. And like, I don't know. Now he thinks I just say pure instead of pure.
That's crazy.
But yeah, little did he know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's something I can mark and always remember. Um,
Love that.
yeah. But Quinn, what was your manic pixie moment of 2014?
My manic pixie moment is probably, I forgot to mention this in the catch up, but because of my role in Hairspray, that is actually when I started to watch Drag Race, which
Hmm.
is still something I watch very you know, I'm so a big fan of.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I think there's something manic pixie about because I I like watched it, but it was like there was still some like denial going on of like my identification with the show and like the characters
Mm.
on the show and stuff. And so I was
Hmm.
like, oh, I'm just watching this for like research. Like I'm just like, I'm playing like a role in drag. And so
Yeah.
I have to like understand drag a little bit.
Hmm.
And so I go to like Drag Race and then I become hooked. And like I remember I binged like every season of Drag Race
Mm.
like before I binged like every season of Drag Race before like the next one came on because season 7 of Drag Race, which didn't premiere until like early 2015, was the first season I like watched on like live, like on TV.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, so there was like I remember like my family like or not my like I remember like watching it and being like, oh, I hope nobody like finds me like watching this. Like it felt like taboo. It felt like I was like engaging with the
Aw,
taboo and stuff. And so I was like, oh my God, nobody
I'm being
knows. And I
crazy.
actually I heard about it the first time because I was listening to Kingsley's podcast, who we talked about a little bit earlier, because he had a podcast, right? And I remember him and his co-host talked about the season 6 finale of Drag Race. Um, and season 6 is still one of those like seasons of Drag Race that people like talk about and like talk about as one of the best seasons ever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I remember hearing him talk about that, and I had like a vision of like RuPaul in my head that was not at all like what RuPaul ended up looking like. And so like yeah, I just didn't I like didn't know. It's weird to like think about that time and like listening and like not knowing what like drag was at all,
Yeah.
and now
Wow.
having such like a intimate
Close
view of it.
relationship with it.
But yeah, I remember it being like, I remember feeling like it was taboo, not because like anybody in my family made me feel like a certain way, um, like exceptionally, but like just because like
Hmm.
I knew there was something like um taboo, like that's kind of the best word I can use for it. I knew there was something taboo
Yeah.
about what they were doing on the show, and I was like,
Hmm.
nobody can know that I like this, and that like I think it's fun to
That
watch.
I'm slaying boots down the house
Yeah,
purr.
and so that feels like a very manic pixie thing to be like, oh, nobody. Yeah.
Under the covers watching Drag Race.
And so yeah.
Wow. Cute. Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what a great wrap up on such a great
Another.
year.
Literally, we've done it again.
And the sources are saying that 2014 is in for a comeback. So if you're feeling like you need to express your 2014 self, we do encourage you to do that.
And don't forget who ushered the comeback.
Yeah, it was us.
And that's all we'll say
Yeah,
about that. But
thank you
Becca,
guys.
where can people keep up with you individually?
They can follow me at Becca Hobart on Instagram, at Bex Gloss on Twitter, and Where Y'all Going During World War III on TikTok. They can also find me in the frickin' crowd at a 1975 show, wearing a leather jacket, a beanie, and drinking black water. Quinn, where
Even
can
if
people
it's
keep
90 degrees outside.
95 degrees? I will pass out. It's fine. Quinn, where can the people keep up with you individually?
They can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Quinn P. Murphy and also on Twitter at Quinn P. Murphy _. You can also find me performing in drag at your local Summer Stocks production after 2 weeks of camp.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Becca, where can people keep up with the show if they are so inclined?
They can definitely follow Manic Pixie Jump Scare on Instagram and TikTok and
Mhm.
YouTube, where we post
Mhm.
the podcast if you want to watch it. And also, we post exclusive content there.
Exclusive.
Excuse me, exclusive content there that we definitely would love for you to watch. And please email into manicpixiejumpscare@gmail.com and tell us basically anything. I would love to also see photographic evidence of what you guys were wearing in 2014.
Yes, that's an amazing idea, Becca.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah. What were our media diets? What was happening in 2014 for us?
Yeah,
We
I
would
have
love
to
to talk
know.
about that on a future episode
I have to
if you are
know.
so brave. And so yeah,
Please have courage. Well,
we're
we're
Quinn
Quinn
and
and
we're
we're
Becca,
Becca.
and
And
thank you
thank you
for
for
listening.
listening.
I did not like that at all.
It was bad, but
Yeah.
bye.
Manic Pixie Jump Scare is hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart. Executive produced by Quinn Murphy and Becca Hobart.
Sound and video editing by Quinn Murphy.
Social media management and highlights by Becca Hobart.
And our theme song was written by Quinn Murphy, Becca Hobart, and Nandita Mahesh.